nomination to run against Rob Whitman, and they're here today, and I'm so excited about it. We have a couple from our own committee. Tom Hicks is from here, Edwin Santana, Ryan Sawyers, John Siddart, who's from this committee, and Vanjie Williams. So starting alphabetically, Tom Hicks, where are you, Tom?
Right here.
Okay, come on up, come on down. Tom has some flyers for you that you can pick up. And so anyway, let's see what Tom has to say. And please, while he's talking, get some food. Don't leave it here.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Two things I want to say. I want to personally thank Corey and Morgan and myself for a great effort. Thank you very much. You got my support in 2019. You guys did great. Second thing I want to say is, today is Veterans Day. I want to thank and all of the veterans here, including myself, all my fellow veterans. Thank you for serving. It's a great day. For those of you that don't know who I am, Tom Hicks. I live in Montpelier with my wife Claudia. We've been married 34 years. And we have 2 grown sons. My wife couldn't be here today because she's on her way to a wedding of our best friend's daughter that I'm going to get in the car and drive to as soon as it's over, so she's on the way. But she wanted to be here. I graduated the U.S. Naval Academy, and after my Hyman Rickover interview, I served in the Nuclear Submarine Navy. Great service there. After leaving the military service, I've been working as an engineering consultant for large companies and national laboratories. And I ran a small construction company for several years that I also owned. So why am I running in this race? I decided to get involved and run because I was deeply concerned that the Republican Party was taking this country in the wrong direction, and that their policies of fear and division were hurting our democracy and running counter to my personal beliefs, that the 2 parties need to work together and in a bipartisan way to solve this country's serious problems. That's what we need in Washington. The fear and division, that needs to go. I've never run for office before. Never really intended to run for office, wasn't in my career plan. But over the past couple of years, things in Washington have gotten pretty bad. And in May of this year, when the House, in my opinion, passed the worst major piece of legislation that I've ever seen on that House bill, that was a line in the sand for me. And I decided to get involved, get engaged, and run, and try to make changes. I could no longer stand by and watch the right wing of the Republican Party take control of the congressional agenda and pass legislation that would take health care away from millions of Americans, that would take away women's choice for reproductive health, that would deny equal protection for our LGBTQ community, that would pass tax cuts for the wealthiest people in this country at a time when we're facing crushing federal deficits, that would repeal important environmental regulations, and that would roadblock common sense gun control legislation. We need to put a representative in Congress that will stand up to Republicans and challenge those right-wing policies with well-thought-out progressive ideas on health care, job creation, and equal rights. And we can do it. To that end, I stand for strengthening the Affordable Care Act by creating a public option for the individual and small business marketplace that will allow them to buy into a Medicare-type program that will give them affordable, comprehensive, and affordable health care. I also believe that we need to fix the prescription drug price situation in this country and allow our government to compete for pricing, because right now our country pays the majority share of the price of those drugs, and all the other industrialized nations in the world are getting off scot-free, or they're paying a lot less. Okay? So From an economic development platform, I believe that we need to do business tax reform, but we need to do it in a fiscally responsible way. And then we need to take the revenue that we generate from taxing that money they have overseas and put it into investment in infrastructure and job training. Job training is very important. We have 6 million jobs in this country that are unfilled because employers cannot find qualified workers. We need to invest in job training through business-government partnerships and fill those jobs with American workers. I will support women's right to choose. I will support equal protections under the law for our LGBT community. I will support immigration reform, and comprehensive immigration reform. Comprehensive immigration reform is not only a social issue, it is a major economic issue. The Federal Reserve and the Congressional Budget Office have said that comprehensive immigration reform will create economic growth in this country and will contribute hundreds of billions of dollars in federal tax revenue that will help pay for Medicaid and Social Security. Because we have a demographic shift in this country where we need more workers to pay into the system because there's more workers, more retirees taking money out. I believe in a common sense gun control legislation. Common sense gun control legislation. And that includes banning these military-style assault weapons. They have no purpose except to kill massive numbers of people. There's no other reason to have. We need to get rid of them. Can't do that. As I crisscrossed this congressional district over the past few months, I've met with a lot of Democratic groups like this one. And I've canvassed for Democratic candidates. And it was clear to me that the energy and enthusiasm of the Democratic Party was going to carry us to victory last Tuesday, and it really did. It was tremendous. But despite that victory, for us to put a Democrat in the first congressional seat, which is a very red district, we are going to have to work our butts off because it's going to be a very difficult challenge to unseat that incumbent. I believe we have to do two basic things. One, we need to get our base out even more so than we did this year. I know there's been a lot of talk about how great we got our base out this year, but we are going to have to get even a bigger turnout if we expect to win. But the second thing we need to do is we need to attract the independent moderate voters that voted Republican last year. And we need to convince them that our policies are better and that they need to come over and they need to vote Democratic. And I believe that I can do that. I believe that with my background, my experience, my ideas, that I have the leadership and the credibility to not only bring our base out, but to attract those independent voters. And I think I can do that and win in November of next year. One last point, quick. Our founding fathers wrote into the first article of the Constitution the requirement that congressional representatives stand before their constituents every 2 years and stand for re-election. They did that because they wanted those individuals to be accountable to their constituents. Well, next year, Congressman Whitman is going to have to run, and he's going to have to be accountable for his votes, and we need to vote him out. The last thing I'll say is I hope that all of you will support me in this endeavor. It's going to be very difficult, but if I am not the Democratic nominee, I know that we will all support whoever that nominee is, because defeating Whitman is the #1 objective. Thank you very much.